Hi guys, welcome to Next Step with Cherry. So if you're my new viewer, I want to say a very big thank you. And if you're my returning subscriber, thank you so much for choosing Cherry. And I'm so glad and so happy today. I guess you are also happy because finally we are going to be talking about really practical terms of work permit and moving abroad with work visa. So if you're watching this video right now, please share this video, share to your friends, recommend to your friends so they can also get this information and you can bring your questions. So before we start, I would like to read the question that we're going to ask today so that you will know about this question before you ask, before you before you comment any other question on the comment section. So these are the things that we'll be covering today. We are going to cover how did you hear about the jobs and abroad for applying for jobs abroad from home, and what was the job hunting like in the beginning. How long did it take you, and how was your application process like? Which countries did you apply to before you landed the job in Ireland? How did the Ireland job application process go? And let's see what other question. Can you recommend recruitment agencies to us? And which website did you use to apply? And how is your CV and your cover letter, like all the details? So these are some of the questions that we are going to be covering today. So if you are watching now, please give this video a thumbs up, as well as share with your friends, recommend to your friends so that they can get this information. So without wasting much of our time, I will now let us introduce our guest today, and he will introduce himself and also where he is at, where he is from, and everything that we would need to know about him. So please, can you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, hi everyone. My name is Olalikon Lawal, from Nigeria and currently in Dublin, Ireland. So I work with a consulting firm, one of the big four firms, which is Deloitte in Ireland. Yeah, and that's brief about myself. If you are willing to know more, yeah, I'm willing to share.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So he works in a very big company in Ireland, and we are going to know how he got that job. So first of all, I would like to ask, how did you hear about like that one can actually get job from outside the country that he or she wants to apply for, and what was the job hunting process like for you when you started?
Okay, so I would say the job hunting process, or okay, getting to know about applying for jobs, that's foreign jobs
Yeah.
from your different country. My own case from Nigeria. I would say maybe it's more like the transfer window in football. It's the jackpot season, and
Mhm.
I've had examples of people that have made the move to different countries, most especially the UK, and very few in Ireland. Then very few too in Australia. The popular one we know about is the Canada movement, which is they have to go through PR. But then the one that is actually open to work mostly is UK, Ireland, and Australia. So um, the hunt about getting to hunt for the job, I think started in 2021. That was around April 2021, and yeah, my own search basically was restricted to Google. So I'm a risk advisory consultant. I do more of internal audits for clients. So what I just do is I just go on Google and I search for different companies. So I have different companies in mind because I worked with a big four firm, same big four firm in Nigeria. That's Deloitte. So I know in Deloitte we call it the unit I'm under is actually in under risk advisory. So I used Google mainly. Like Google is everyone's friend. Just search internal audit roles or risk advisory roles in Deloitte UK. That's just within UK. And there are also other firms. Sometimes I might limit my search to Deloitte, KPMG, EY, um, PwC. Some other firms we have BDO, Grant Thornton, RSM, and the likes like Mazars. So there are a whole lot. So even when you limit to different companies, then you also limit based on location too. First I search for roles within UK, and it pops up. That's just within a particular firm. Let's say I'm searching for Deloitte UK risk advisory roles, and it pops up. So before I can apply for, maybe like I can find like two or three roles that I feel, oh yeah, they are suitable for me. it's actually time consuming, but you just have to dedicate yourself to it because it's a strenuous process, and sometimes
Mhm.
it's the end people see, but the work you put into it, only you know what you go through. So it's something that is
Exactly.
actually very very stressful, but then you actually want to relocate. It's your desire to like garner international experience, so you have to put in the work. So for me, I would say it was a daunting task, but then I knew what I wanted, so I was always putting in the work, sometimes even every day before normal work, before normal 9 to 5 work. I can take out time from 7 a.m. and maybe use like 1.5 hours or 2 hours to apply for jobs. And by the time you apply for jobs 7 a.m., you would see before 11 a.m. you get a regret mail, rejection mail, and you're like, I just applied for this job. How come you guys are serving me?
Yeah.
So we used to tell them like, but one thing I noticed was the more you apply for some of these roles, the better you become in refining your CVs, in getting to know maybe what they're actually looking out for. So what I did was most times look at most times you will know you have the experience, you know you can do what is required of you in the job description that is on that particular job advert. But what you just do is okay, how do you tailor your CV to fit the job description, because some of them might just be a mismatch of words, just the way you have American English and British English. Some things that you might do in
Mhm.
Nigeria might not be what they call. So we have like the CBN and SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, that regulates some of the financial services in Nigeria. But over there, maybe in UK, it's the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. Those are the kind of things, little things that okay, you might just want to tweak in your CV and maybe similar to stuff like that. So sometimes you have to benchmark your CV to the job description. You ensure that okay, what
Mm.
you've done here in Nigeria is this is what they call it in the UK, this is what they call it in Ireland. So you can just maybe tweak it a bit so that if they are using the because I think most times it
Yes.
goes through I can't remember the tool that
The
recruiters use
ATO.
to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Once they just use to track the your application, and they see that okay, there are words that don't really match, then they might throw your CV by the way and save regret mail. But you will not let that put you down. So what I do most time is okay, yeah, just look at the job description and see how it fits with your CV. And most times, talking about your work experiences, you might have like 3 line items on your CVs. Maybe you did a particular this thing and you have 3 line. But most of these recruiters, they are not technical as you are. You are the one that has done the job. You know what you do. But the first point of call of your CV is the recruiter. So the recruiter is not a technical person in your line of field. Maybe over time, some of them might be, but most times they are not really technical. So it might be best for you to like keep it simple, short and simple. Maybe like one liner or 2 liners that you go straight to the point, you hit the nail on the head. Okay, this is what I've done. Then they'll be like, oh, they'll be able to match it and like, okay, yeah, I think this guy's CV, this person's CV looks interesting, and we would like to give the person an interview. So to land interview personally was difficult because I started applying from like April, and I don't think I landed an interview till July. So April, May, June was month of intense breakfast session. Like you apply, they'll serve you regret meal breakfast, like it will come back. So one thing I did was okay. So personally, if I apply for a particular company and a particular role, I have different email addresses. I think I had like up to 4 or 5 email addresses that I was applying. So I was tweaking. I have different CVs that okay, I have used this particular CV to apply for this particular role. If it bounces back, I might give it another shot and just maybe change some things that okay, maybe this is what didn't allow me get shortlisted for an interview or something. So I just used another role because I feel these are jobs that you've identified the job. The first process is to identify the vacancies. And when you look at the job description,
Exactly.
there are things that you know you can do. There are things that you've done. So it's not much of a difference for you. So I just say, okay, I just change like my email address and apply for the same job again. And luckily sometimes, yeah, I think it happened on like 2 occasions that I had gotten rejected before, and I later got interview slots. So it's something like that, I would say. So I think pretty much I don't know if I've covered your questions. I've talked about
Yeah,
the
you have.
process. Like, yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
it was a daunting task, But I mean, you just have to keep going, because I can't count the number of rejection mails that I've gotten, like the breakfast session. But there's something that kept me going. So because I had friends too that were in the same process trying to search for jobs, and in the morning you'll be like, you can message me, you'll be like, bro, it's a good morning to apply. And I'm like, yes, we go again. So
Yeah.
every day. And I noticed that because me, I'm a lover of sport, I'm a lover of football. So every weekend, like Saturdays are meant for EPL and to watch La Liga. So they are meant for sport. But I noticed that over time, the will I say the passion for football reduced a bit, because
Mm.
I bulk of the time of my Saturdays were strictly for applying for jobs. Like I was like, I had different tabs opened on my system, checking, okay, I've applied for this, I've applied for that. Then you just once you apply for so many jobs on Saturday, you just be waiting for feedback during the week. And like me, I don't have notification on for any any social media app apart from my LinkedIn and my Gmail, because LinkedIn and Gmail will have to be your friend, because you want to keep yourself abreast of any responses. You don't want a situation whereby recruiters have gotten back to you
You
and you are not
something.
up to speed. Like I had a friend
Exactly.
that something like that happened, and she told me that she didn't they called her for interview. They scheduled an interview in September 2021, and she didn't get to know up until like April 2022. And I'm like, even when you create different email addresses and you tell maybe you put it in your CV, you should be able to keep up to speed with your emails. Like it's something that your Gmail or your Yahoo Mail should be your friend, and also your LinkedIn,
Yeah.
because yeah, I think optimizing your LinkedIn is something that one will do when you are trying to apply for these kind of jobs. Because most times when you first Google Google search the company and the roles that you are interested in, you would also want to check some of them might include the name of the recruiters for that particular job. So once you see the name of the recruiter, first things first, if you don't want to apply for the job immediately, I think sometimes it's best to quickly send a LinkedIn connection request to the recruiter, then try and form up a conversation. So me, I had like a draft. I had like a draft mail that message that I used to send to some of those recruiters. I maybe I Cherry I have 4 years experience in internal audit field, and I've done this and that. I'll just give them a background of my experience, just like a very very short liner, maybe like 4 or 5 lines, the way it comes, like, just like a short email draft. And I can assure you that I'm excellent at what I do. Then immediately I send that message, I would attach my CV. Some will come back to you, some will reply, because most especially when they pushed out the particular role and you've seen their names, some will be like, oh yeah, they can go through your CV and they'll be like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. I think there was a particular job I did similar thing for PwC Dubai. I didn't apply directly because I noticed I wasn't landing interviews for PwC. So I thought to take a different approach. Then I reached out to the recruiter on LinkedIn, and she was like, okay, no problem. Um, she scheduled first interview. It was when they scheduled first interview, she now told me to go and apply through the normal job link. She sent the link to me to
Mm.
apply. So I now went to apply through the normal route. But I'd already established communication, and she called me that, okay, yeah, we're going to fix the manager interview for you at so time if that's convenient for you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I think it's also a surer route if you can optimize your LinkedIn, like make the best use of your LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn nowadays is a social media platform. Definitely you can get there to crack under pressure, because you see different people. I'm starting a new job at this, I'm starting a new job at this. But I think
Yeah.
it's best, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's best to optimize your LinkedIn and just follow some of those recruiters. And sometimes what I do is, you can even from the LinkedIn search, maybe you have interest in a particular company, you can just scroll through. So there's a people section on LinkedIn. You can check everyone in that company, and you might want to send connection requests to the senior managers, maybe the partners, like the people that you feel they are influential, and also the recruiters or maybe the HR of those companies, and try and establish communication with them, because that's also a very very good way to create a path for yourself, to create a path. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
very very good way Once you do that, some will respond and some will air you. Some will respond. I mean, it's not everybody that has time, and some of them might not even be using the LinkedIn like that. But I mean, it's something that once you cast your net into the sea, I mean, you definitely catch fish. You will definitely
Yeah.
catch fish. So it's something that you
Yeah.
need to put in the effort. Like you really need to put in the effort. So I'll just stop here for now. Let me just pause here.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I will have to recap what you said for people that just joined us. We are going to answer your questions, so you can keep sending them, and when we are through with what we have, we will answer those questions. So he said that the first thing that you need to do is to identify the position, the job that you want to apply for. So if you
Yeah,
are working as, for example, a project manager, you have to identify the different types of name that project manager can be called, different types of different type of roles first, and then you identify the companies that you would want to work for. So you can go on and search like the top companies, or like companies that are known to be into that area, because I know that, like, when it comes to like banking, account, finance, we have the PwC, we have EY, we have Deloitte and other
KPMG.
ones like, yeah. So if you're into tech, then you need to identify the ones. If you're into engineering, you need to identify that company. And then when you have made list of that company, then you can go on and try applying to the jobs available in their website, on their website. So he also said that when you are getting a rejection email, it is very important for you to calm down and check the reason why you are getting it. Because even though you see a job that you know that this is you can do everything, but when you look at their job description and the task that they said, you will realize that they use like they use different words. And even though it's still what you can do, but they use this different words. So what you need to do is you have to go to your CV and you have to rewrite those words so that it will be exactly the same thing, because you know that this is for you, this is what you can do. And with that, when they see it, it will no longer be like different thing. For example, they might call projects, maybe they might call it assignments or assessments, somebody that have done assessment, but you know that what they mean is someone that has done projects. And on your CV, what is written on your CV is project. So you just need to change the word to assessment or assignment, and then you keep on trying. And he also made mention that he has been applying. He applied from April. He has been getting rejection emails, and he makes sure that he apply morning before he go to work, and also on Saturday he applies, and then he has several CVs as well as at least 4 emails. So he used those CV to like match and see if it is something that works, and then he makes changes. Okay, so with that, we go to the next question. You've almost covered the question that we have, but let me see.
Okay.
So how long did the process take? Okay, did you apply to any other country apart from Ireland? And how long did the process take you from when you started the application till you land Ireland? Like, what is the process is like?
Okay. Yeah. Sure, sure. I actually applied to different countries. I tried. I think the popular three, UK, Ireland, and also Australia. I tried those three. Okay, yeah. I also tried, like I mentioned, I tried Dubai. That's is it UAE now? United Arab Emirates. Yeah. So I tried I tried different countries. I tried I think that's four. That's four. Yeah. But I think I was able to land interviews in other countries apart from Australia. It was only in Australia I couldn't get no interview slot. But I mean,
Yeah,
Australia is very far, so I think it's actually a good place. But you can there's no way you cannot cast your net too.
yeah,
So I started applying around April. I started applying around April, and I didn't get a proper feedback from any recruiter or anybody till the 30th of June 2021. So I think my process actually took the process of starting to apply for jobs and getting to Ireland is actually a complete year because I arrived Ireland on April 3rd, 2022. So yeah, but I'll just give a background of that. So I started applying for jobs April, and I didn't get interview. My first interview was this current job, which was with Deloitte Ireland, and that was on July 14, 2021. It was a Wednesday, I remember. July 14, and I had the final interview on July 22nd. That was like the next week, 2021. But I didn't get a response. I didn't get the offer till the 30th of August. I think now that I'm
Oh,
here, I now that I'm here, I kind of understand maybe what must have caused delays, because
mm,
that was like the summer months. That was the summer months, like from August. So there were some activities, and definitely once there's summer, most people tend to be on leave. They try to travel out, like travel to different places and like so. That's
mm,
why. And but within the period I did the interviews, because the first ever foreign interview I had was with Deloitte Ireland, which I did July 14. The final was July 22nd. After then, I think within the space of another week, I think early August, I did interview with Deloitte UK. It was quite fast.
oh,
So they actually quite chill. They will send you a schedule to pick when you'll be available for interviews. But me actually, for my person, I like picking the earliest date. I like doing it sharp sharp, so that we'll just get it over and done with, and I'll see whether I'll get offer.
yes.
So I did within that period. I was waiting for Deloitte Ireland. I did Deloitte UK interview, and I did the first and final interview with Deloitte UK. I think it was just within the space of a week, and they even got back to me. So I was expecting that they were going to get back to me on as per offer, but they served me breakfast, and they gave me feedback. It was quite painful. It was quite painful, because if that offer had already come earlier on, I'll probably be in London by now. But I mean,
Mm,
I'm grateful for where I am now. But yeah, they gave me feedback, so I knew there was a particular line I said that maybe didn't tilt it to my favor. But we move. Um, I think I don't know if I did other interviews. Okay, I think, yeah, I did. The month of August was August 2021. I did different interview. I also interviewed with Mazars in UK. For some reasons, those ones didn't. They just canceled the whole process or something.
oh,
Um, so I think it's always difficult landing your first interview. But when you land your first interview, I think subsequently, I think the fact that you've been applying all through, most times the interviews will now be coming back to back to back. So it's the consistency of
mm,
application that will now determine the way your interviews. So it got to a point that I was landing interviews back to back. And to be honest, when you do interviews from from different companies, you won't. I it got to a point I didn't really prepare for interviews anymore. I'll just wake up. I'll dress corporate, like business, yeah, corporate, yeah, wear not my tie and suit, and sit for the interview just like this, and I'm good to go, because I've already like rehearsed in different interviews, so it was more or less
yeah,
like the same thing. Then okay, now let me just narrow it down to Deloitte Thailand. Yeah, the offer came August 30. Accepted the offer very early September. Then the process started. So the process actually involves them applying for your for your employment permit. So since in the application, most times when you know that the job is actually open for application, when you're applying for the job, they will ask if you actually require visa sponsorship. So because you are coming from a non-EU country, and because we are coming from maybe Nigeria, so to say, because I was coming from Nigeria, I definitely needed work permit to be eligible for work in this thing, and it's a critical skills employment permit. So they
mm,
applied, the employer, which is Deloitte Ireland, applied on my behalf. They applied on my behalf
mm,
to their own government here. That's like, they call it DET, the Department of Employment, Trade and Enterprise, DET. So they apply for the employment permit. So it's that employment permit that allows me to work here. I think the UK guys call it this COS, certificate of sponsorship or something. So the company has to
yeah,
apply on behalf of the employee, that okay, this person is coming from this country and is coming on our terms. Yeah, we need you to grant, the government needs to grant you an employment permit. So after employment permit, then you would need a visa, because yeah, you, like, as Nigerians, we need visa to enter Ireland, we need visa to enter UK.
yeah,
But for other EU citizens, they might not need visa to enter Ireland, as it were. So so the process of employment permits, mine took a very very long time, because then they had backlog from COVID. So they actually applied for my employment permit October 13. So within this period, within the period I signed the offer and between when they applied for the employment permit, where there was communication between myself and Deloitte. They were
Yeah.
they were running some background checks. They would do background checks, fraud, police, and the likes, references, and
Mm.
the normal stuff that HR do. Then they will apply for your permit. So in that moment, I already had. So one thing I would advise is you just get your passport ready and make sure that you have like 12 months on your passport validity, so that, because most of them will say you
Yeah.
have 6 months, but if you have 12 months at least, you'll be very, very comfortable. So I even had like my passport is running till 2024. Nothing where I dey use and do. So I had my
Yeah.
passport till 2024. So the only thing is transcript, because that transcript can actually delay your process. So if you have once you start applying for foreign jobs, just make sure that you have your transcript by your side. Like it's very, very close, because it's something that can frustrate the jackpot process, like your relocating location
Yeah.
process is something that can
Yeah.
really, really, really mess with you, because it can make you toil and toil and toil. Because most times, most of these things, they are external factors, they are not within your powers to get. The
Yeah.
passport is actually not within your power, then also the transcript is not within your power. So you try as much as possible to get that ready when you want to make the move. So I
Yeah.
had my passport ready, but the transcript I had a student copy. So what I just told them was, oh, my company, my university, because I attended the Federal University, University of Lagos, my university doesn't give transcripts to people for. They only give transcript for academic purpose. They were like, okay, it's fine that since you have the student copy, that one was watermarked, not for official purpose. I think what they just needed to do was they just wanted to benchmark their own education. So they looked at
Yes.
they picked some courses I did in my final year, and
Yeah.
just put it as part of the application for the employment permit, that okay, this guy has actually done something like this. And also maybe like my professional certification, because I'm a chartered accountant in Nigeria, ACA. So I think that's also an edge. If you have any professional certification in Nigeria, it also flies, because if you are a chartered accountant anywhere, you can also function as a chartered accountant anywhere, because I mean it's more or less similar practice. Maybe you might just need to do some region based courses, like if you are going to Canada or US, that's their CPA. But if you are going to the European Union, if you've done ACCA globally recognized anywhere, or if you've done ICANN too, it's still recognized too, because you're an ACA anyway. I mean, people from other countries, Pakistanis, Indians, any country, they actually use their South Africans, Ghana, they also use their own ACA in their own countries. So they applied for the employment permit to the government on October 13, and this is why I said mine took a very awfully long process. My permit didn't come out until February 2nd, 2022. So that
Mm-hmm.
was the 16th week, of which prior to COVID, it used to take like 8 weeks. But I think from April
Mm.
this year, April 2022, it now takes 4 to 6 weeks. In fact, recently, so one of my friends told me that his own came out within 3 weeks. So it's that fast now. So,
Oh.
and once your employment permit comes out, you can then proceed to apply for visa. So immediately my employment permit
Yeah.
came out on February 2nd, 2022. I started making plans to. Okay, before then I was already getting prepared to apply to get my documents ready for visa. So it's more or less like the same documents you need for your visa applications. It's not really difficult. It's not really difficult. The only thing you might just need is like a letter from your employer, just to state that okay, yeah, this person is coming for work, is placed on a critical skills employment permit, and we will be maybe providing accommodation, or they'll talk about your salary details
Yeah.
in such letter. Then you go apply for visa. So, and the visa process is straightforward in Nigeria. I visa to come to Ireland is done via VFS Global.
Mm-hmm.
So because they don't have the embassy in, I think the Irish embassy is located in Abuja. So but they actually use the services of VFS. So VFS, they do visa application for different countries: Denmark, Portugal, I think you see France and the likes. So Ireland is also part. Applied for visa on, I think, February 7th. February 7th, I think that was a Monday. I applied for my visa February 7th. And it took exactly 21 days. February 28th was when my visa came out. February 28th was when my visa came out. And Yeah, immediately my visa came out. I think it was that night or the next month, the next day. Okay, that night I resigned in my workplace. So I was working for an insurance firm. I was working for an insurance firm.
Yeah,
There and then that night I resigned, and because I needed to give a month notice, because I was not ready to give them money back in lieu, one month salary, when I actually needed to convert some money to convert some naira to euros. I mean, the exchange rate is
yeah.
crazy, so it's not easy returning money. So the visa took 3 weeks, and it was quite fast. It came out real quick, and yeah, one
Okay.
month I booked my flight, and here I am.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
we're gonna ask some quick questions, and one of them is now there is a question here that I would want to ask to how many years experience do you have? Did you have before applying for these jobs?
Okay. I think I had 3.5, yeah, 3.5 years experience. So I worked with Deloitte Nigeria for 3 years, 6 months. But yeah, 3 years, 6 months. But I before then, when I started working, I worked my first workplace. I think I did 6 months, so that was like 4 years. But what I'll say is because I'm a senior consultant, so the way it is, I think if you have 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 years work experience, they don't actually demand much. If you have 2 to 3 years relevant work experience for that particular role, so not just my own role now, for any role, for any foreign job, once you have 2 to 3 years work experience, I think it suffices. It actually suffices. I mean, it's something that
Okay.
there might be people that have more, but once you have 2 to 3 years work
Yeah.
experience, like there's nothing stopping you to apply. You can give it a
Okay,
shot.
so another question that I would want to ask is, up till now, have you seen other people that have also come to Ireland through this critical skill employment permit, and what are like their jobs like? What roles are their jobs in? And yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I happen to have friends. So the way it is in Ireland, yeah, I think it's just opening up. That's why I would advise people to target Ireland compared to the UK. UK is larger, and UK definitely, a million and one people that have gone through such distance. So I think Ireland too is something that one people can actually try. Yeah, I actually know people that have come to Ireland through work. Some we worked back home in Nigeria together. They've landed, and some are actually still coming. Like they are coming. Some have reached out to me that okay, yeah, they've gotten offers, and I'm like, makes sense. Like the community is actually growing. Yeah, people have come, and it's not just restricted to Big Four, because I have friends that are here that work with Amazon. I've met people work with Amazon, Stripes. I mean, even if you're a tech person, like here in Ireland, there are different tech companies. You have Meta, Facebook is here, Twitter is here. Like
Mm-hmm.
the head offices of most tech companies are actually here. There's TikTok here, like just name it. So it's something that you might want to explore. And if you're into maybe financial services, talk about the investment bank. There's JP Morgan here. So most companies are actually relocating their headquarters or looking to set up, get a firm grip of their companies too in Ireland. So it's an interesting ground for people to want to explore. So that what that means is what they would need people, and they will need to put people on the critical skills employment permit, which is also what we call stamp one, which allows you to
Mm.
work. It allows you to work here in Ireland like as a full-time employee, and also allows you to maybe to do other businesses, and you'll be put on that stamp one, which is the critical skills employment permit, for 2 years. So after the 2 years, you go to a stamp four. So the stamp four is what we call like the PR, the permanent resident. So once you're on stamp one, once you come through critical skills employment permit, after 2 years, you become a permanent resident. So what it means is when you become stamp when you once you become a stamp four holder, which is the PR, you don't need any company, you don't need no company to sponsor your visa anymore. So that means you can just decide to be, I just want to be at home. Okay, I don't want to work for nobody after the 2 years of being on stamp one. So that's what it means. Like you can now decide, you can change jobs anyhow you like. I mean, though the thing is, So most companies will say, when, like me, what one of the one of what the immigration consultant told me was, I need to stay with the firm for at least 1 year. I can't leave within 1 year.
Hmm.
So let's say, for example, I spend 1 year and I want to leave after 1 year. I would need another company that will be ready to sponsor my critical skills employment permit. Like, just make that application to the government that, okay, yeah, this guy is moving from this company to this, and we are ready to sponsor his critical skills employment permit. So that's it. But if I just stay with Deloitte for 2 years, then I don't, after 2 years, if I want to leave, I don't need any company to sponsor my visa. I can even decide to just resign and, okay, I just want to stay at home. But billing will kill me, so I can't decide to resign and stay at home. But I mean, so
Okay,
you
so
just be on. Yeah,
sorry to cut you short. I would want to
no worries.
ask now, like how we are going to talk about how now. So, from your experience and also for the experience of people that are coming and people that have already that are now in Ireland,
Yeah,
where did they actually get this job? Which I know we've talked about searching for it, but is there like a particular website or a particular way? I also know about LinkedIn, and we are coming to that. I would just ask the question so you can then take your time and answer. So, where did they get this job, and what is the approach that they took when they are talking to recruiters? Did they go through recruitment agency? Did they go through the company's website directly, or there is a particular website meant for these jobs? Okay, with that, I would also go into LinkedIn. Now, let's say that you talk about LinkedIn and also they connected with them on LinkedIn. We've talked about optimizing our LinkedIn. When you talked about reaching out to the recruiters and also connecting with the senior managers and HR and all that,
yeah.
how should we actually connect with them? Like what should we say? How should we do it? And also optimizing of the LinkedIn. Did you optimize it yourself, or did you ask someone to optimize it for you? I know it's a lot of questions, but I hope you get that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let me take it from the LinkedIn. I did it myself. Like, I know some people there's this notion that I need to be on LinkedIn Premium, but what I mean optimizing your LinkedIn is to maximize the potential, like make the best use out of it. So what is it? Uh, you have interest in a particular company, or maybe you are in a particular field. This is what you do, and you know the kind of companies that are in similar fields, or maybe the company that you're targeting that you want to relocate to. You just go to LinkedIn, check the 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 company. You can check the company out, or check the employees there, connect with some of them, most especially the ones that you feel they are going to be influential, the HR, then the senior managers, the top people there. You start a chat, you send them connection requests. Some will respond, some will accept, some won't. You just try and kick off that communication with them. So once you kick off the communication, from there you throw your CV. First time you shoot your shot, like you just shoot your shot. Like, the ball is in your court, you shoot your shot, kick off something with them. So once you kick off something with them, you already established that communication and chat. Like, my own recruiter personally, immediately the first time she sent me a response mail when I applied for the job generally, and she sent a response mail. Immediately I went to add her up on LinkedIn. I started chatting up on LinkedIn. In fact, when she told me that I've been scheduled for interview, she told me on LinkedIn that I've been scheduled for interview before I actually got the mail. Like, I was literally screaming on LinkedIn, and she was like, she's happy, I'm excited. I said, I'm going to grab this opportunity with both hands. Like, this is my only chance. Like, I did, like, my life depended on it. So once you do something like that, it was later on I got to find out that after she after I was done with our own stage, the recruiter that was in charge, the overall person, had already connected with her before. I'm like, oh, so I'd even established it. She told me on LinkedIn that they are going to make me an offer before I actually got the offer. So I so
Oh,
that's like the benefit. That's like the benefit. Like, she told me on the morning of the August 30th that um I followed up with her. I think I followed up with her around 10 a.m. Like, what's up? I've not even heard from you guys that this on. Then she now responded around 1 p.m. Like, the business would like to make you an offer, blah blah blah. That she's actually out of office, but her colleague will reach out to me. That means she was on leave that day, but she just found a way to. She saw my message and she replied that, yeah, her colleague will reach out to me. And I'm like, wow, like, I had already gone crazy. So that's what I mean by trying to optimize your LinkedIn. You can even set job alerts on LinkedIn. Maybe like me, you have maybe you are interested in senior consultant or assistant manager role or manager roles. Any role, yeah, you set job alerts and you set the kind of companies. You even set the locations. Like me, I don't even receive job alerts from Nigeria anymore. Like whilst I was in Nigeria, I was interested in UK, Australia, Ireland, UK, Australia, Ireland. So every time you just see those job alerts coming up, and once I do it like this, immediately I send it. I don't just send to my. I don't just use it alone. I send to my friends too. Guy, how far you don't apply for this particular job? Immediately I just send it to like my friend, like five other people at least, and everyone tries to shoot their shot. So that's the way you optimize your LinkedIn. You don't need to do LinkedIn Premium. I know people say, okay, once you put open to work, or sometimes once you put open to work and you make sure that it's only recruiters that can view it. I mean, if you don't shoot your shots at them, some of them will even shoot their shots at you, which is what you even want sometimes. But I mean, it's a two-way street. More of which depends on you. So you'll be the one to shoot your shot most times. Those into tech too, I'm sure they'll be poaching you. They'll be poaching you. So it's something that you really need to consider. Now moving to, there's something you mentioned about whether you apply
Where did
through
we?
different sites.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no hard and fast rule also. Like me, I just go to Google. So my role now in Deloitte is called maybe internal audit, governance, risk, regulatory and risk, GRR. In PwC, what does it? I think in EY calls it enterprise risk. So I was already familiar with the nomenclature. In Grant Thornton calls it business risk services. Different firms have their different nomenclature. So sometimes you just need to just type anything on Google. Just type risk advisory roles in Deloitte UK, risk advisory roles in EY Ireland, risk advisory roles in Grant Thornton Australia. Once you type it, like there are a plethora of options, like numerous options will come out. So you don't need to restrict yourself to maybe a recruitment agency, or like all these job sites, Jobberman. So when you check Google, definitely it will reference the sites that is coming out from. Maybe it's Indeed or anything. Sometimes it's always best to go to the company website itself, because it will link you up to the company website. So it's better to go through that route. So once you go through that company website route, you need to create a profile, on a job profile on the portal of that company. PW, every job you definitely have to create a profile, because from there you can also track it. uh, once you apply, there's a schedule application stage. There's a column there, application stage. Once it's time for first interview, and that's why I even like them. They put, when you have, maybe I have an interview for next week, this new week, maybe like on Wednesday, they'll put they'll put the interviewer's name, like two people. Once you see the names of the interviewers, I'm like, okay, I'll go to LinkedIn. I'll profile the interviewers, and once I profile them, it will form part of the discussions. Like when I'm introducing myself, like even when they ask questions, I'll make them see that okay, there's similarity in what we do, stuff like that. Then there was a time when I finished my first interview. I think the next day, I just checked my portal and I saw that they put the name of the person that was going to interview me for the last stage, but they hadn't even got back to me. That okay, immediately I just told my parents that this is it. I think I've qualified for the final stage. I think one more lap to go, one more lap to land this job. So that there's no actually hard and fast rule about it. Just use Google. Like the internet, the search is wide. Sometimes you might now come across some recruitment agencies, and I think there are a whole lot of them. Yeah, like I can't even restrict myself. Like once you optimize your LinkedIn, to get to a point that LinkedIn itself will be popping up those people, those agencies, that agents, and some of them that you might just connect with, and some of them will reach out to you that okay, I have a role. Some of them are even recruiting for these firms themselves. They are recruiting for some of
Yeah.
these firms. The fact that they're recruiting for some of these firms, they would have looked at you. They'll be like, I feel your profile matches with this particular job, and they will even be the one to be
Mm.
convincing you. So it's stuff like that. And they will even give an idea of the salary range, stuff like that, and the benefits. So there's no hard and fast rule. First, once you search from Google, it will bring out any and everything. And once you optimize your LinkedIn, once you have companies that you are interested in, you target those companies. And I mean, it's a big field to play in. It's a big field to play in. Like you can't even exhaust it. you think it's easy to apply, but when you start applying, even you yourself, you gas out because you'll be like, you wouldn't have applied for 3 jobs in a day, and you'll be like, wow, that's a lot. So it to get to a point that when you're applying, you'll be reading the application, maybe some parts you need to click yes, and sometimes they will ask you why you're applying for this particular role. I think it got to a point that I was even applying on my phone, not even on my laptop, and they will ask me, um, why do you want to move to the UK? And if I start typing on my phone the reasons, like, is already there, the answer is already pre-populated on my phone. Once I start, I've spent amazing time in Nigeria. Like, my phone automatically brings out the next thing I'm supposed to type. Like, my phone already knows what I've been answering all the recruiters. And again, it got to a point that, yeah, I had like there's a group I created for myself. So most of those questions, I'm the only one on that group on WhatsApp. I just paste those answers, those responses there. So once I'm applying for another job and they ask, I'll just copy and paste that. Don't stress me.
Mm.
I already know this one. So once you keep applying for jobs, you see that it's the similar questions that you just give them this. There are sometimes you can even apply with your eyes closed. You already know where you should click yes, you already know where you should click no, and the like. So that's just it. That's just it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to summarize what he said. So we have already said it before. Like when you want to apply, first is to understand the name of that particular position, what it's called
Yeah.
outside your country. What do they call it? You can just type that on Google. What other names for project management, project manager, other names for Google analyst, other names for senior consultants, or all that. Then when you get the names of that, then you can identify the companies. It's also easy. Use your Google, and then you can type the big companies that are into accounting, companies that are into tech in Ireland, companies that are into this in UK. And then when you identify those companies, then what you need to do is to go to those companies, go to their career page or their job page, and then you look at the roles that they have. If you find something that is in that list that you've already created that matches the job that you're looking for, then you can apply. And he also made mention of optimizing LinkedIn. So there are different ways that you can optimize your LinkedIn. One is through connection, and the main way is for you to at least make your LinkedIn to look good, make it to look professional. So LinkedIn is an application that is it's mainly for networking and connection and job. So when you get your LinkedIn account, then you have to, it's either you give someone that is a professional to do it, or you can do it yourself. You just have to put the position, everything to be professional, reflecting on your CV. So it have to reflect on the jobs that you've done and everything, and then you can start connecting with companies. So what you also need to do, if you don't know about this optimization of LinkedIn, please use YouTube and watch and see like how people do it, how other people do it, and learn from there. Like there are a lot of teaching about that. There are a lot of tutorials about that. You can use it and then you'll be doing yours. Or other way, you can also look at some people's profile. Like if I am a
True.
senior consultant, I can search on LinkedIn, senior consultant. And then if I see a Nigerian that is also a senior consultant, I can look at his, what he type, I type, you just have to match it so that because his is already professional enough. So you just have to, copy and paste and put your own roles and your company
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, and that way it will look professional. Then you can start looking for locations. You look for jobs in UK, Ireland, and also the other countries that you would want to go for. And then you can start applying. Then he also made mention of connection, which is very, very important. You guys can see that how he got his job was also mainly through connection. You go to the company that you want, and then you go to the scroll down, you will see people. So you search for the senior manager, the recruitment team, the HR, and maybe someone in the position, the same senior consultant with you. Then you try to send a connect with them. When you connect, you can then start chatting with them, tell them straightforward, shoot your shot, and tell them that you are applying for this also role. And also you tell them, maybe if you saw a description there, you can as well tell them you saw this job opening, and you would want to apply for that. You've already applied on the website, and you would want to connect with them, and you also upload your CV, send them your CV, and you wait and see what is going to happen. So you try as many companies as possible. He said that he uses Saturdays to really apply for all the jobs, and every morning before you go to work, you also apply for the jobs. So now we are now going to talk about CV format and cover letter, because I know that a lot of people a lot of people are asking about that. So we have already talked about CV format, but is there a special CV format that you used? And what is there? Is it possible, if you can, if there will be a way you can explain to us what we should put on our CV, like how the CV should look, the website that you use in creating your CV, or and also for our cover letter, what should we write on the cover letter? Are we going to write different cover letter for different companies? Who are we going to address it to? Like just the CV format and information about that.
Okay, so first off, personally, like I hate, actually, I dislike cover letters. I don't think I actually use cover letters for
Hmm.
anything. Yeah, like I so much hate it. Like I, to me, I feel maybe recruiters don't look at it. I feel they don't look at it though, but I don't think I've applied for any job that has cover letter. For CV, like I add, because most times cover letter is always, I think it's always optional. So I just tend to sit it out. Like I don't use cover letters. Then for CV, do I have a particular format? So I'm just trying to see if I can find any of my CVs here. Because that, like I said, I had different kind of CVs when I was applying. I had different CVs when I was applying, but I think the key is to keep it short and simple. So the key is to keep it short and simple. Maybe what I'll do is I could actually send you a copy of my CV. I'm trying to find my CV now. CV is only when one is looking for a job that the CV is always close by. But let me see. I must have my CV should be close by. Surprised I can't even find it.
Okay, you can send us the copy of your CV so that we can look through it, and also we see how
Yeah.
it's what
So I
like the
think
things.
my CV here. So from top of my, so funny thing is I think the CV, the way my LinkedIn profile is, yeah, I think that actually gives me an idea of my CV because I copied in my about section on my CV. That similar thing I copied on I pasted on LinkedIn. Like even the job experience that I put in my when I was working with while I was working with Deloitte Nigeria is the same thing that is on my CV. Like that's how it is. So I from here I can see that I did most of them were two liners, two lines. Like they were not much because I noticed that most of your CV shouldn't bore them out. It shouldn't get boring. And from top, after putting your name and probably your qualification beside your name, you put your email address and your contact number. I think that's pretty much it. Then you just put like a summary of your profile about yourself. I mean, different people have different styles of CV, so I don't think there's actually a one size fits all for CV. There's actually no size fits all. So that's why I don't even consider anything special. But what is key is they must be able to tie the job description to your CV. Like they must be matching, there must be a match between it because these recruiters that are looking at it, I mean, maybe a recruiter studied, let me say a recruiter studied engineering and the person is recruiting for an accounting role, or maybe the person studied like philosophy or psychology, but the person is recruiting for a tech role. You won't want the person who definitely might not be so experienced in that in what you've done because you're the one that has done the technical. So you want to make it granular. It is when you now get to the interview stage, you can now flex your muscle, you can now show your power, you can now show yourself that okay, the summary of what I kept in my CV, you explain it to them that okay, this is it. You can now you can now elaborate on it. But from CV, just keep it short and simple. Uh, keep it short and simple. Are there any other things that I at least put on my CV? I mean, it's it's not really much of a, like the Irish should say, it's not much of a muchiness. So it's not like a big deal at all. For CV, but I'll
Okay,
look for my CV
so
and share with you. I'll look for my CV and share
all right,
with you. Yeah.
all right, thank you so much. So for the jobs that we have in the critical skill occupation list. So you just have to go through. The link is also on the description. You can go there and look at the list, and then you will know if yours fall under it. Remember that it might be called another name or something like that. So you can try to see if it falls under it. If it does, you just need to start your job hunting. It's never easy. It's never easy. It's not easy. So
At all.
before we close, I don't know. Let me see if there is any question that we are not responding to. So we have talked about the sites that you would want to use. He said that you just need to go on Google and type the position, and then you type the company that you want to go for. So it depends now on your occupation and your job role. Then you can be able to connect with them, apply on the job website, and also connect with them on LinkedIn. So I have been talking about LinkedIn for quite a while, and you guys can see how powerful LinkedIn is and how people are really getting to connect with so many recruiters through LinkedIn. And many a times I have talked with people, and I mean like 80% of people that I've talked with in this job thing, that are looking for job, they don't have LinkedIn profile. And mentioning about this LinkedIn, if you're applying only through the website, it's not enough. You just need to connect and shoot your shot with the recruiters and the HR. That will help you a lot. Okay. So he said, he was like, he has like 10 years work experience. Which company can he apply? Identify the job position, identify the companies that are into that, and you can try to start applying with those companies. Can I have more than one LinkedIn account since I'm applying for a different role aside my current job? Why are you applying for a different role aside your current job when you don't have experience in that other role? If you have experience in the other role, then you can as well attach it on your LinkedIn, or yes, you can try to open another account. But he's trying to say that you must have work experience at least 2 years, 2 to 3 years before you start applying for this, so that it will not be when you get interview, they will realize that you don't have experience in that. Okay, I wanted to ask if critical skill jobs has a minimum wage requirement to qualify for visa sponsorship.
Yes, yes. Definitely, since the firm wants to sponsor your visa and wants to place you on a critical skill employment permit, I think the minimum is 32,000 euros per annum. I think 32,000 euros, 32k euros per annum, 32k
Okay.
euros. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have someone here that is saying, I would need your advice and your motivation for this person. So he said, I have applied and applied for all these jobs in foreign countries for years, and I have never received any positive response. What could be the cause and what should I do?
Okay, I don't think it's extraordinary because you've applied. So it depends the the jobs you're applying for, what jobs, and are they open for visa sponsorship? Because that's the first thing. Because automatically, if you fill in some parameters when you're applying for the roles and you they are not actually open to sponsoring visa. Maybe it's limited to people that are on ground in that country, or maybe to their citizens,
Mm,
then definitely it will be the same result. So maybe that might be the major factor, because I want to believe that you definitely have experience for these jobs that you're applying to or you're applying for. So once they are open for visa sponsorship, then what you need to just check is, once they're open for visa sponsorship, then you just need to benchmark your your experience, what you've stated in your experience, the summary of experience in your CV, to the job description. Once you can tailor those two, then also, if you have a contact, like maybe the people in the firm that you feel you can actually relate with. I mean, like I've said, like the purpose of LinkedIn, to me, before, I used to see LinkedIn as eye service, like it was a boring, very boring stuff, boring thing. Like I think I opened it then, maybe out of just to open it. I opened it back in 2017. Yet the second half of 2017 was when I opened it. Well, it didn't used to make sense, like little by little. But I think when he now got to this point of trying to get a job, that was when I now knew the importance of LinkedIn. Like it is now that
mm,
I appreciate LinkedIn. So no matter how people cost LinkedIn, you don't know the importance till you start actually enjoying the benefits, or till you start optimizing it.
yeah,
Till you start making good use of it yourself. You might feel okay, yeah, everybody says like people are showing up for LinkedIn, or people are. I mean, you can be on LinkedIn quiet and you are doing your thing. You can, like, once you are doing the right thing on LinkedIn, once you're using it for the right thing, you'd actually enjoy it. You know that, okay, yes, there's more to harness, there's more to tap from in LinkedIn, on LinkedIn here.
yeah,
Like there's a whole lot.
yeah. there is something you mentioned that I think we should also pay attention to. So he mentioned about you checking the role that you're applying for, and also check for example, if I'm applying to, maybe I'm applying to, let's say, Microsoft. I'm applying as a
Yeah,
data analyst, and I've been applying for jobs and I did not get this job. So what you need to do is to go to Microsoft on LinkedIn and try to connect with those people that have data analyst role. Then you can connect with them by asking them. You can even send them your CV to look and know, because you have these 5 years of
exactly.
experience. Then you can send them your CV to help you to look through it and know what is wrong, why you are not getting these roles open, like to ask for their advice and for their help on what you need to do. That way it can also help you to connect with them, and also if there is any job opening available, they can as well help you. And when you get rejection email directly through LinkedIn from a recruiter, it is also necessary for you to ask them why. Like, what do you you just don't let that conversation die there, because now they will also, it will help them to know the kind of person that you are. Like, you don't give up, you are open to learning and all that, so you will know the reason why. Okay, we have talked about the minimum requirements, the minimum wage requirements. He has talked about it, and you can go back when the video is still. You can listen to everything he said about that minimum wage. So someone asked, is it possible to have a fake offer on LinkedIn, a fake job offer on LinkedIn? How are we going to
Fake.
track it? Yeah, like maybe someone send you a job offer and say that you are fit for this role and this is what you need to do. How can we check to know if it is real or if it is fake?
So I mean, before you to get, it's not you, the offer doesn't just come directly, because you go through stages, recruitment stages, because they are sourcing for talents. Then you attend interviews. So once those processes are in place, and if it's obviously, it has to be a verified company, like a company that you know. So it's, the chances are very slim that you fall for that. You fall for that because
Yeah,
they will even have to apply for your employment permit to the government. I mean, that's why those steps are actually in place. Then from there to when they send the permit to you. So the way the government, when the government approves the permit, they don't send it. They'll send it to you and copy the company in the email, so you know that it's coming from a verified source. And you can always check the government websites too of that country. So the chances are slim that okay, you proceed from getting a fake offer or something. I mean, recruitment is actually a very very strenuous process. So I don't think anybody wants to do that for fun or for the
yeah.
fun of it.
Does
Or
not just
yeah, and
from
again, because and
ever.
again, no one will ask you for money. No one will ask you for money.
Yeah,
So there's no cash benefit. Like, there's
yeah.
no cash that is leaving your hand, so you can't fall for anything. You shouldn't fall for nothing. Like,
Okay, so the first step, like we said, is for you to go through this critical shortage list. Please make sure you go through it, and then you know if you always fall under it, then you can start sourcing for all the information that we've given earlier, and you can start your application process. So with that, we
yeah,
come to the end of today's video. I'm going to keep his LinkedIn profile link on the description so that you guys can also connect with him, and also you can copy from him. You can copy from his too and optimize your LinkedIn, and you can connect with him so that like he can, if there is any question that you have, he can as well help you out. And also just try to connect with him on LinkedIn, and if you have any question you can ask him, and I'm going to keep his CV profile also on the comment section so that you guys can as well look through it, and also his Instagram profile, if that is okay, and you guys can connect with him. Please know that he does not process visa. He cannot get you a job. He can only answer your question. He cannot get you a job. So he can only help you to assist you if you have any question on what to do and all that. So don't don't send messages like, I need visa to Ireland. How can I get visa to Ireland? He will not respond to that. But if you want a professional guidance, he can help you to get. He can help you with that. So, is there any last advice that you want to give anybody hunting for job out there, and anything that you want to tell them, even if it is going to Ireland or any other place, from your experience and experiences of other people around you, before we round up?
yeah. I mean, so I would say the transfer window is open. Like the chances are there, the opportunities are there. So you just need to keep pushing, keep knocking till the door opens. I mean, what the world will see is the end, but the work you put in, only you know. So just put in the work. You definitely smile at the end of it all. You definitely smile at the end of it all. So that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So if you are watching till here, please give this video a thumbs up so that it can be recommended to other people that are also looking for this information. And if you are watching and you've not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Like this video, like it now, and share with your friends, share with your friends, recommend to your friends so that they can get this information, because it's not only for Ireland but also for other countries. As you can see,
Yeah,
he applied to UK, Australia, and this is the method that he used, and then he finally landed the job in Ireland. So please share this video with your friends that are hunting for jobs abroad, your families, so that they can get this information, and also they can continue their process and be, it's like a motivation to you guys so that you guys will continue that job hunting. Hopefully, one day I will interview one of you. I will interview one of you
definitely.
too, how you did the job, and we will smile at the end. So with that, we come to the end of this video. Please
Amen.
give this video a thumbs up and share with your friends. Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.